after author Salman Rushdie was attacked at an event in New York today. According to a New York Times interview with his agent, Rushdie is currently on a ventilator and will likely lose an eye. He also suffered damage to his arm and liver. This comes after he was stabbed at least twice today before giving a lecture in Western New York. Authorities have now identified the suspect of the attack as a 24-year-old from New Jersey. CNN's Shimon Prokupez tonight has details.
All the international Western media have been talking about the Ayatollah of Iran, who had declared a fatwa for the murder of Salman Rushdie. But nobody is talking about those guys who had put pressure on the Islamic leaders around the world to declare such a fatwa. One of them was Chaudhry Mainuddin.
2 months ago, the first book burnings in Bradford, a mill town in northern England. It's an unlikely place to be fomenting revolution.
If somebody swear at ourselves, we will tolerate. If somebody swear at our parents, we will tolerate. But if somebody swear at our prophet and our big persons, we won't tolerate.
Thousands marched in Bradford.
A man who is wanted in Bangladesh for spearheading the genocide of intellectuals during Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971. Chaudhry Mainuddin was tried in absentia. There are many witnesses still alive who saw Chaudhry Mainuddin collaborating with the Pakistani regime in 1971. This fanatic Islamist Chaudhry Mainuddin was against freedom of speech, was against secularism, was against human rights, who had made his contributions in every way possible to turn the UK into a Sharia country. Chaudhry Mainuddin was also involved in spearheading the protests against Salman Rushdie back in 1989. This by itself proves that Chaudhry Mainuddin was surely involved in the intellectual genocide in Bangladesh back in 1971. Do you see the connection? His fight against freedom of speech. Chaudhry Mainuddin and his cohorts had inspired Jamaat and their cohorts and other Islamist groups in Bangladesh to carry out killing of freethinkers in Bangladesh. People like me live in fear for life, and we can't speak freely because people like Chaudhry Mainuddin have now bred thousands of terrorists around the world who want freedom of speech silenced. The people who had staged protests against Salman Rushdie in the first place in UK, and then it spilled over into other Muslim countries. If you ask me one name who started it all against Salman Rushdie, I will just say one name: Chaudhry Mainuddin. Such criminals are walking free still in the UK. That's why there are many areas in UK which are now no-go areas for freethinkers like me. Islamic Forum of Europe should be banned in the UK. and its sister concerns should be banned in North America immediately.
Sentenced to death for crimes committed during the War for Independence in Bangladesh. Chowdhury Moinuddin is a prominent Muslim leader who's held a senior position at the East London Mosque. Well, his lawyers here say he entirely rejects the verdict of being a war criminal. Sekunda Kamani's report contains some disturbing images from the start.
This is where some of Chowdhury Moinuddin's alleged victims ended up. Hundreds of thousands died during Bangladesh's battle for independence in 1971. Today, a trial in absentia in Bangladesh found Moinuddin guilty of murdering 18 pro-independence intellectuals before he fled to London 40 years ago. This is one of Moinuddin's alleged victims, a famous playwright. His son travelled from London to Bangladesh to testify in court. He supports today's death sentence, the scene of abductions.
I saw 3 or 4 men standing with scarves over their faces. They were armed with guns. I was able to identify one. Moinuddin.
Are those eyewitnesses lying when they say that they saw you?
Well, if they are not true, of course they are lying.
চৌধুরী মঈনুদ্দিন এই ব্যক্তি বিভিন্ন ইসলামী সংগঠনের সাথে যুক্ত, পূর্ব লন্ডন মসজিদের সহসভাপতি এবং মুসলিম এইডের ট্রাস্ট।
Chowdhury Moinuddin is one of the men who controls the East London Mosque, one of the biggest mosques in the country. In 1989, Moinuddin was one of the leaders of the campaign which preceded the fatwa on Salman Rushdie. To many in the Muslim community, he's a respected figure. But Dispatches has found that during the Independence War, he was a leading commander of the Al-Badr and one of those responsible for organizing the systematic slaughter of Dhaka's intelligentsia.
Chowdhury Moinuddin is not a symbol of killing. He is in fact a participant in the killing. He is in fact a mastermind behind the killing. I think that he should be treated as a war criminal.